Shalom, welcome to Rob on the Rock. I'm Rob Van Hoff, and today I want to just look at a clip of an interview that Maher did with Elon Musk, where the Bible is mentioned and slavery is mentioned, and we're going to see the audience laugh. And I just want to listen to the clip and then reflect on what the presuppositions that Bill Maher has about the Bible and the audience. Why did they laugh? And then also consider, if we are a careful reader of the Bible, do we get a different picture than what's portrayed here on this popular TV show? So here we go.
Slavery is obviously a horrific institution, but we should still know more about George Washington than that.
And by the way, one that was practiced all over the world forever, since the beginning of time, by every race, including people of color. I'm sorry.
So right off the bat, Bill Maher correctly says slavery has been in the world. And my position, it's a function of fallen humanity. It's a function of sin and the problem of the evilness of the world. But we're going to continue on here.
Sorry to tell you that. It's huge in the Bible.
Absolutely. So
the Bible loves it.
Really?
If you hear that, the Bible loves it, and everybody laughs. So is that true? Does the Bible love slavery? Does Bible love slavery that's been practiced? Is the slavery that has been practiced by mankind from time immemorial, is that what the Bible loves and gives its stamp of approval on?
Yes, they're quite strict about, don't take someone else's slave and that kind of thing.
Right, but no one ever says, just don't do it.
So to Musk's credit, Elon Musk pushed back and says, well, there are legal stipulations concerning slavery in the Bible that differentiates it. But Bill Maher replies, well, no one says simply don't do it.
They don't. At no point does it say slavery is bad in the Bible.
No.
They do not condemn it at all. They just so it's
But
okay, so that was the snippet. So Elon Musk says that's true. Nowhere in the Bible does it says slavery is bad. So what we need to do is go back and actually consider the concept of an eved. An eved is the word for what we translate servant or slave in the scripture, or doulos in Greek. And what was it? Well, if we look at the ancient world, yes, there was slavery everywhere, but guess what? There was evil slavery, and that the children of Israel in Egypt, and God delivered them out of the house of bondage, out of the house of slavery. And he delivered them. And then when he gives them the Torah, the commandments to live by, which a man will do and live in them, it says that they're not to oppress the slave. They're not to oppress the stranger. And time and again, it says, because you yourself were slaves in Egypt. You yourself were strangers in Egypt. That you know the heart of the slave. You know the heart of the stranger. And that this is an empathy that God is extending as obligatory, an obligatory empathy. That means required. God's people are required to identify with the heart of the oppressed, whether they're slaves or sojourners or any kind of marginalized. The idea of the oppressed, God is mandating that his people take time to empathize and remember what that feels like to be on the oppressed rather than the oppressor. And so there is a huge, huge difference between what we call the slavery in the Bible and then the slavery of the ancient world and all through time. They're not the same at all. As a matter of fact, God's people are called his servants. His prophets are called his servants, avadim, and it's slaves. So the picture of slavery is used to talk about those who serve God. And to serve God is la'avod. It's the same verb, to be a slave unto. To be a slave unto God. And to call God Lord, or Adonai, is to take upon oneself, to presume upon oneself the position of a slave or a servant. If you look in the epistles, you look at the writings of Paul, the writings of Peter, the writings of even the Lord's brother, James or Yaakov, he says he is a servant. He is a doulos. He is an eved. He is a slave. Paul says he is a slave of Messiah. And in fact, the redeemed, those who are the beneficiaries of Messiah's shed blood, of his giving of his life, of his crucifixion, we belong to him. And belonging to him means we are his slaves. We belong to Messiah. So when it says in Paul in Galatians, for example, if you belong to Messiah, then you are Abraham's seed and heirs according to the promise. So where Elon Musk says, oh, you're right, Bill Maher, the Bible never says just don't do it. It almost seems like Bill Maher would say, well, if I was God, I would just come down and just eliminate slavery. So that was his wisdom, I guess. So Bill Maher has the wisdom to say what he would do if he were the creator, which is kind of silly, because there is a fallen world, there is slavery in the world, and God is interested primarily. This is his project, is building up his children so that they love one another. They love one another. That's it. Love your neighbor as yourself. Love the stranger. Love the servant as yourself. And in Galatians 3, Paul says that whether someone is free or a slave cannot be a legal category or identity by which laws are made to reinforce those divisions. It says, no, there is neither slave nor free, Jew nor Greek, male nor female, but you're all one in Messiah Yeshua. Because the point is, this world was not to come and eliminate slavery, because that is a symptom. Slavery is only one symptom of the sinful human heart. There's other things. There's murder. There's prostitution. There's all sorts of other problems. And slavery was a fact in the ancient world that had to do with the economy and people getting themselves in trouble, people being in trouble. Because remember, there's no prisons. There were no prisons that someone would go to jail, right? They would have to pay off. They would have to somehow be into forced labor in order to pay off the damage that they had done. And the Bible never endorses injustice. The Bible does not endorse injustice between man and man. It's always justice. It's only in man's own conceptions, man's own systems of law, where injustice is can become institutionalized through different religious groups or sectarianism. But in my view, the Bible does not endorse abuse, one human's abuse of another human. I just don't see it in there. So, Bill Maher can laugh at the Bible. Elon Musk can laugh. Although, again, I do give credit to Elon Musk here to at least push back against Bill Maher a little bit and say, well, wait a minute. There are stipulations about slavery. Yeah, and that's how God's people differentiated themselves. They didn't treat people the same way and with the same brutality that we see elsewhere. So now for slavery in the colonial era or in the 18th century America, or 17th, 18th, and into the 19th century America, it obviously was atrocious. And it is good that slavery was abolished in the United States. But that slavery, the slavery that existed in the United States, is not at all to be equated with the slavery that we read about in the Bible. They're very different things. And so I was saddened to see this clip. I was saddened to hear the audience laugh, particularly when Bill Maher says, the Bible loves it. The Bible loves it. Yeah, that's not wise, and it's not very educated. Again, two multimillionaires, billionaire when it comes to Musk, who have access to all the information similarly to the video I did with Dr. Peterson, where the Bible is being misrepresented in some way by people who don't care enough to actually be absolutely precise about their language and their presentation of the Bible. Although I would say in the case of Jordan Peterson, it was more of a mistake. Whereas here, I think with Bill Maher, I think he enjoys being provocative, and he doesn't care about the Bible at all, and he's happy to get the laugh as he did here, so it's a completely different kind of scenario than that I point out in the Dr. Peterson and Dr. Wolf interview. So again, just another little short quibble on how the Bible is being represented. In this case, it's much more sad, in my opinion, than what we saw in the interview with Dr. Peterson. All right, that's enough for now. Shalom.